Hello, I'm Tom Horton. I'm a professor in the computer science department at the University of Virginia. This is an introduction video to the Tools of Trade course for spring 2021. At UVA, that's CS 1501. For you students at UVA Wise, it's CSE 3950. So I wanted to just spend a few minutes welcoming you and introducing you to the course. I am one of the two faculty members who are managing the course. I'll say a little bit more about that later on, but it's a student-run course, as you might know already. So I'll show you a few slides. We're going to talk about the syllabus, look at what our website will be, and then that'll be the last you'll hear of me for a while. Student instructors will take over and direct you through your weekly activities and lectures and all the rest of that. So let's look at the screen here. I'm going to, like I said, show you a few slides, talk about some of the mechanics, talk about the reason this course exists and why you might be here taking it. So, let me click on the right things here. There we go. So we're excited about this course. We're really pleased that you're thinking about taking it or you're enrolled and committed to it, because it's going to be a fun course, something we'll enjoy, something you'll enjoy, something that will really help you, I think, as you go on through your career in computing. What's this course about? Well, first of all, it's unusual in lots of ways. It's a collaboration between the University of Virginia here in Charlottesville, where I am, and UVA Wise down in Wise, Virginia, in Southwest Virginia. Jacob Somerville is a computer science professor at Wise. I'm a computer science professor here. We've met for a number of years. I'm on the Wise advisory committee, so I'm driving down there about once a year. So I know Wise and I know UVA Wise. I've met a lot of the students there. So we had mutual interests. We're both interested in trying to sort of make our students better prepared for jobs and internships once they had a few courses and they can work in the summer, or once they've completed their degree and graduate. So we applied for a grant from the state, from something called SHEV, the State Council on Higher Education of Virginia. And the whole point of the grant was to try to sort of help some students, a certain set of students, get better prepared for jobs and internships. And we based this on an idea of a course called Tools of the Trade, which was an earlier student-taught course a number of years ago here at UVA. And so we sort of co-opted that idea, gave it a different twist. And we first taught this in fall 2020 in an online version to about 35 students, about 11 from Wise, I think, and the rest of them from UVA. So as I said, this is a student-taught course. And so we have we call them TAs sometimes, but they're really the instructors. There's a good number of them, about 8, I think. I've kind of lost track. At least one of them is from Wise. We're hoping to get a second one. So it's jointly offered by students from both schools. And we've worked together as a team last semester. And so they're experienced and they're continue to be excited and motivated by this course. They're the teachers. The goal is to eventually have students from other schools in Virginia, maybe even community colleges, maybe schools down in areas of Virginia that are away from the big cities where there's lots of internship jobs. And we tried to get another school involved this spring and it didn't work out. So maybe next time we do this. One of the goals for this course that's important to us, Professor Somerville and I, and the students teaching it, and also SHEV, is this. We want to address this course for certain groups of students, for students who are early in their computing career, who haven't had internships, in fact, who haven't had certain opportunities or experiences before coming to college that some students get. So you might know this, you might have seen this here at UVA or perhaps at UVA Wise. There's some students who've had high school experiences where they've had AP courses, they've had clubs, they've had jobs. They've had a lot of opportunities. Maybe they have parents who or siblings who work in the computing industry, and so they've learned a lot along the way from these experiences. There's other students who come to college and they discover computing. Maybe they're the only one in their family who did it. Maybe there weren't computing courses at high school, and they feel like, oh, other people know more than me. And of course, that's always true. You get big majors, and there's always going to be someone who knows more than you. But we wanted to sort of pitch this course for students who are starting out relatively early in their career and who feel like, yeah, maybe there's some things that would help me if I pick them up early, getting internships or maybe working on research projects or maybe working on side projects. So that's a big part of our goal. And so we want to make sure that students in this class meet that pattern. And so we're not trying to sort of design this course or even make this course available to students who already had internships, who already know all these things. That's just a waste of their time and a waste of our time too. So our goal is to really bring people up to speed. So if you feel like I'm behind, I don't know things, don't worry. That's why we want you in the course. And the TAs are excited about sort of sharing what they know. Okay. Most of our course will be delivered through a website using Moodle. Moodle is a course management system that's very popular around the country. If you're a student here at UVA in Charlottesville, you'll know Collab. So Moodle's a lot like Collab, but more modern. Collab is ugly. You may be familiar with it if you're a UVA student, but we tried using Collab for the course last semester, and the students from Y said, what is this Collab thing? It is strange. So this semester, we're going to use Moodle and see how that goes. The TAs have tried it out. They like it. And so we're going to try to make everything as much as possible available through Moodle. So I'll show you that in a second. But one of the things that's really different about this course is there's some challenges. It's taught for students at 2 different schools. We've got staff from 2 different schools working on it, which makes it kind of fun, but also makes it kind of interesting. And there's a whole team running this course. So it's unusual compared to probably any other computer science course you've taken. It's 1 credit, it's pass fail. It should be interesting. It should be a lot of fun. It's not going to tax you or overwork you. And some of these challenges I mentioned, we fought through a lot of those last semester, and they weren't even too bad then. We managed to make it work. And I think this semester will go even better. So a lot of stuff is on the syllabus, and the syllabus is on the website. So we're going to switch gears and sort of go to see what you find if you went to this website. So if you click on that link that I just showed you, and we will share this link. Go back there. If you go to moodle.mcs.uvay.edu, you will find the course listed as $39.50. But if you copy down this entire link and click on that, it's kind of a chicken and egg problem, because these slides have the link, but the slides are on the Moodle. So I'm not sure how you get this without sort of remembering https moodle.mcs.uvay.edu. Maybe we'll email it to everybody. You'll find a login page that looks like this. And if you've never created an account on the Moodle at the Math and Computer Science Department at WISE, you'll need to sort of create a new account. So all you UVA users will have to do that. You WISE users, probably you don't. But once you've done that, which I've done, I created my user ID and I created my password. And when I log in, here's what I see. So here is the tools of the trade course. This is what Moodle looks like for those of you at UVA who've never seen it before. I'm going to switch to how it looks if you're a student. So you won't ever do this because you are a student, but I'm normally an instructor. But down the left here are certain things. There's going to be special areas for week 1 and 2, and I'll get to that in a second. And up here at the top, then there are some basic kinds of things. And so if you click on syllabus, you'll get to our syllabus. And so let's go there now. So Professor Somerville and I, we called ourselves course managers, but we are really behind the scenes. You are not going to see us much. And if there's something drastic and horrible goes on, you can always contact us. You're very welcome to. But we have 5 instructors listed here. There's a couple of names missing that I'll add later on. But these are our staff, our student staff, and they will do everything in the course. As I mentioned, it's a 1 credit course. It's credit, no credit. There are things for you to do. There's a lot of flexibility in things for you to do. You don't have to do everything to get a credit. So it's not going to be overbearing for you. If you have an issue, we've got a section here on the syllabus on who to reach out to. We ask that you do put the name of the course in the subject line. You can always call it the tools course. That's how we refer to it. So if you could say tools course, and that would work just as well. One of our TAs is Mara. She's going to handle issues about grading, including if something comes up and you have to miss a deadline or something like that. There's sometimes questions from students who have registered with at UVA what we call the STAC Center, and at WISE I think it's called Disability Services. but sometimes there's extensions are given or extra time or things like that. And that may not be an issue in this course, but if so, talk to Andrew. Professor Somerville is going to handle all our Moodle issues. So if you can't log in, or I had 2 accounts, one as a student and one as an instructor, and so he had to help me fix that. So he's our man for all Moodle issues. Madison is her full name. Maddie's going to handle what we call professional development activities, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. And then there's a chat. So Moodle has a chat feature. I haven't clicked on this, so let's see what it does. Some reason that's not working. We will see about that and get it worked out. But this is going to be the equivalent of Piazza if you've used that at UVA. This is going to be the way we're going to sort of talk about issues. It's a discussion forum. So as you probably already know, as I've said, we're going to sort of try to teach you skills and technologies that will help you with internships and project work. And so that's going to include things like GitHub and Git, programming to APIs. There's going to be some connections with industry. There's going to be some things about resume building and things like this. But there's going to be a mix of technical topics and a few professional topics, but mostly technical topics. So you'll get a high level overview and knowledge of a lot of technical skills. We're not going to dig in deep. We're going to sort of help you find out how to dig in deep if you want to do more. But the goal of the course is to sort of give you a broad overview of things so that you know what they are, you know the basics of them, and you can dig into them if you need them for an internship or for a project. So a couple of students commented the last time they were a little surprised by that. They thought we would dive in deeper, but no, we're going to go broad and a little bit shallow, but give you the opportunity to go deeper. As I mentioned before, part of this grant is to sort of try to support students who are early in their studies, who've had less exposure to computing skills or role models in computing. And so that's what we're looking for. And we're going to try to do some study to see how well we're supporting students like that and how well we're supporting all students in the course. So there may be some surveys, there may be some times we'll sort of ask you questions to try to see how well we're doing. And these are really important because this is a funded project and we have to sort of report back on how we've done. And so there'll be a little bit more of that kind of evaluation in the course than you might normally see. All right, I've already mentioned Moodle. Our TAs and our students last semester have had some discussions about how to try to help you all interact with each other because we're online. Here at UVA we don't have any choice. Most courses are online. I think WISE has courses in person this semester, but we're scattered across the state. We want to try to have some way that you guys can chat with each other about the content, about the course. You can talk about us. We may join in. TAs may join this too. So GroupMe is what the TAs thought might be the best thing. So there is a GroupMe link to form a sort of class discussion. And if you don't know what GroupMe is, it's well, you'll find out. It's a fairly effective way that students at UVA anyway have used a lot to sort of communicate with each other. So the course will be delivered online in an asynchronous format, meaning we're going to record videos that you can watch anytime. They'll be on YouTube, in fact, that you can link to them from the website. All our office hours and any kind of interaction will be done during Zoom, maybe some other things, but we're going to try to stick with Zoom this semester, and everything's going to be available through the website. So it's that kind of course. We have a lot of TAs, excuse me, for this course, and they get paid to do office hours. And so those will be listed on the course syllabus, on the course website. Click and go there. There was going to be a calendar, and you can see Andrew's already added some office hours coming there. So you can find out about student office hours from the Moodle site, from the calendar. And if there will be a way for you to sort of contact people by email if you can't make office hours and you've got a question. Last semester, the TAs were super excited to try to meet with you outside of office hours. Well, what do you need to take this course? We have to get through the official stuff like that. First of all, to enroll, well, you wouldn't be watching this if you hadn't enrolled, probably. So let's assume you've already gotten permission from Professor Somerville or me to be in the course. But we're really just hoping everyone's had a second course in sort of computer science and programming. So at UVA, that would be 2110. At WISE, that would be 2180. Some of you may come through the Virginia Community College system, so CSE 202 is great. We don't really, we don't, people, there's sometimes people have had more courses and this may be too simple for you. We're trying to sort of give this stuff for people who are early in their careers. And so experienced students may find this course unappealing because it's going to be stuff they've already learned in other courses or on the job. So our goals, as I said, to help you be better prepared for experiences like internships and projects, to give you an introduction to a broad set of skills and tools, including professional development. And professional development, we're going to try to sort of give you what we call professional development activities. And by doing all that, we really hope to increase your confidence in your ability to succeed in computing and your motivation, to get you a little more excited about things. There's no textbooks. You can use any laptop, any computer you have. It can be Mac, Windows, or Linux. We're going to try to accommodate all of those things. You will need to sort of be able to watch video. So high-speed internet is probably going to matter at times. I know for some of you who that's more of a challenge in this online world. Not everyone has great access to high-speed internet, and we totally understand that. So if we have to sort of work with you to sort of make things happen that way, no problem. Course schedule. This is going to be subject to change. We've divided the course up into 4 units. 3 units. I got confused with my other course where we have 4 units. Sorry. 3 units. So there's about 4 weeks per unit, and there's about 4 activities within each unit. And so the schedule here is subject to change. But the way we're going to do this is each week there's going to be a video and a set of activities, a video and a set of activities. And when are they due? Well, we're pretty flexible. We suggest a deadline for each one of them. So for example, the stuff you have to do for unit or week 1.1, which is the first week of unit 1, that's going to be due February 10th. Well, that star, it's a suggested deadline. We really hope you get it done by then because that'll be good for you and good for us. But really, if you wait until the very end of the unit and turn everything in at one time, well, that's all right too. In other words, at the end of each unit, everything's due for that unit. But we do suggest you sort of try to space it out. Otherwise, you kind of drive yourself crazy. I mean, these aren't hard, but we really kind of hope you'll sort of not put everything off until the end of each unit. So they're not going to be programming activities. They're much more simple than that. So don't be stressed out by the fact that we're giving you something to do every week. These are going to be maybe install something, go through a few activities. You can think of it as if you're taking 2110 here at UVA, you can think of it maybe like one of those lab activities, but maybe not as long. Okay, so there'll be stuff given out every week. And then we've also got this thing called professional development activities, and I'll talk about those later on. So unit 1 is going to be this intro, some stuff about doing a resume, about getting your LinkedIn profile up to snuff. Listen to how the TAs tell you what's good about doing that. Then we're going to get into GitHub, a version control system that's very popular and used in a lot of courses and often used in industry too. And we'll ask you to do some professional development activities in Unit 1. Unit 2 is going to start off with an industry focus. We're going to have some speakers from companies that hire students from WISE and UVA. We're going to this is going to be the one time in the semester we're going to find a time when most of us can get together, and it'll be a panel discussion that you can watch live. And if you can't watch it live because you have class, or you're out that week or something like that, we'll record it. Last semester, we did it all by recordings, and we found that students said, oh, I really wanted to ask that person something. So we're gonna try to do one live session here, but you won't be at a disadvantage. I mean, you'll miss it, but you'll be able to sort of watch it and submit questions by email afterwards. So industry, we're gonna give you a break the week of March 10th. That turned out to be a good time for a break for a couple of reasons. Testing and then programming to an application programming interface, an API. We'll talk about that. That's a useful experience to have. And then more professional development activities. The last unit, we'll focus on database, some advanced tools, and there's going to be a final assignment where we're going to try to ask you to sort of build something and put some things together. And that sounds hard and it sounds scary, but it's not. Um, we're going to sort of just ask you to sort of start a simple project on your own. This is the kind of thing that companies are really excited to know students can do. Right. Okay. And this all wraps up by April 28th. One of our challenges is we have 2 schools on 2 different semester schedules. Right. Grading. Well, to get a satisfactory, well, so first, let me talk about the individual assignments. Everything we grade is going to be graded pass, fail. And so if you get a satisfactory, you passed. Unsatisfactory means you didn't. And you know what? You might turn something in and we say, you left something out. You only got it half done. It's incomplete. If it's incomplete, well, if you don't turn it in, it's also incomplete. But you're going to have a way of sort of making up incomplete stuff. So if you can only get part of something done, go ahead and turn it in. And we'll give you a chance to sort of fix it later on. So if it's done accurately and completely, you'll get the satisfactory. If it's not up to snuff, the TA may give you an unsatisfactory. But if it's not up to snuff because something's wrong or it's missing, you might get an incomplete. And there's a way of getting something graded again. So first of all, Mara is listed up at the top as being the person to contact about grading. And so if you think something was a mistake was made, something was missing because of a bad URL or bad link, or the TA grading it didn't understand it, talk to Mara. If you get an incomplete or an unsatisfactory, there's a regrade assignment. So let's look at this. You will have 2 days after you get back your grade to resubmit if you got an incomplete on something. You can't do that for every assignment. You can only do it for up to 2 of the weekly assignments. Let me scroll back up here. There's really 12 weekly assignments, actually 11 because there's a break week. And so, so for 2 of those, you get a little bit of extra time. Okay. So you'll have questions about this later on. And when you do, ask a TA during office hours. I mean, ideally, you'll get stuff in, you'll get a satisfactory, and you'll never need to worry about some of this. But everyone's got issues going on. And so you'll miss some things. And by the way, before I go any further, to get a satisfactory in the course of those 11 assignments, you really only have to do 8. So the other 3, you can just blow off, or you can try them and get an unsatisfactory. So you don't have to do everything in the class to get the credit. Okay. We're not trying to pressure you. We're trying to sort of help you out, show you things you want to know, let you learn some things that are exciting to you, and help you grow in some confidence here. So we're not trying to kill you in terms of assignments. But those weekly activities, everything I talked about was related to that for the most part. But we have this thing called professional development activities. And so I'll talk about more about those in a second. But let me just sort of finish the remaining stuff here. That final assignment I mentioned, you got to do that. So even if you do, that's not one of the 3 things you can miss. You can miss 3 of the 11 weekly assignments, but everybody's got to do the final assignment. And so details of that will be coming up as we get through the course. And then finally, we're going to do some surveys. And the surveys, we have to have that from you. And we'll shout at you and maybe threaten you with a no credit if you don't do them. So just help us out here and don't argue about it. Just do the surveys when we want you to do them. Okay, I'm going to talk about professional development activities in a second because those are really interesting and important. But I'm not going to talk about a bunch of the stuff here. I'd ask you to read. This is a lot of the sort of language that you find in a syllabus anywhere. So one of the things we say is this is a document that may be adjusted. This is sort of a contract with you, but as a contract that we may update, and we'll tell you. It says we might do it without notification, but we will definitely try to let you know if we update this. So academic integrity, it's a pass-fail course, so and there's a lot of flexibility, so we really don't expect anyone to be tempted to cheat. But please don't. There are consequences at both universities, at UVA and at UVA-Wise. So there's some stuff here about UVA's honor system that applies to UVA students. But some activities you may be able to work with other people. That will be described in terms of the activity. But don't cheat. Be ethical. We have the two disability policies for the two schools here, for UVA-Wise and for UVA's STAC Center. UVA, we have a policy on violence, on power-based violence between students, between staff and students. Grounds is UVA's term for campus for UVA-Wise students. So power-based violence can come in many forms. That can be sexual violence, sexual assault, all the kinds of things. So we really do care about you. We really don't want any of that kind of stuff to happen within our course or without. So have a read of this, and if there's any kind of issues that come up, let us know. Our university has a long-standing policy to accommodate students with religious in religious situations. So we're very welcome, very happy to sort of work with you on that, regardless of what your religion is. So just let us know. UVA-Wise has a different sexual misconduct and harassment statement. There it is. So have a look at that. That sort of goes along with the one up here for UVA. Okay, so have a read of those things. In the meantime, I want to go back and talk about professional development activities. So you do 8 of these 11 weekly activities, and then there are professional development activities. So when I first thought of this course, Professor Sullivan and I talked about it, we didn't have this in mind. And then we hired a bunch of TAs, and they said, you know, this technical stuff you want them to learn is great, but there's other stuff they need to learn here. So the professional development activities are described here. These are things you do like homework that help you develop as a computing professional. And some of these are things you might be doing anyway. Some of these things are things that more experienced students, students who are juniors and seniors, third years or fourth years, get involved in. And so we're sort of trying to sort of nudge those of you who haven't done any of these things into the world where you'll sort of start taking care of yourself by doing some things to sort of develop yourself as a professional computer scientist. So these are organized. The way this works is you've got to earn 8 points by doing a set of these activities. And some of these activities are 3 points, some of them are 2 points, some of them are 1 point. And so the really simple ones are 1 point. You can go off and learn do some coding activities using a website called LeetCode and earn 1 point for doing 3 of those. So that's actually pretty easy. Handshake is a system at UVA and also UVA-Wise where you create a profile, and then companies that are looking for jobs, looking to hire people for jobs or internships can find your Handshake profile. So if you haven't done that, well, guess what? You can do that and earn credit for this professional development activity. If you have done this, talk to the TAs about, there's a forum that I'll show you where you can ask questions. You've already got a Handshake profile. Great. I think we have a way of sort of giving you credit for that, but I will let the real instructors answer that on the forum. The 2 point activities, you can follow a tutorial and build some project. You can use some API to create a side project. You can read about something, learn about some technology or framework, and write us up a summary that gets shared on Moodle for other people to read. Doing one of those is 2 points. Again, you need a total of 8. Hackathons are a great way of learning things. You go to a hackathon, you build something, but what's also great about hackathons is they have little workshops that run in the middle of them. And so you take a break for an hour and you listen to someone talk about database efficiency or something like that. And so we have had some students who want to do hackathons. And if you've never done one and like to find out about it, you can do that and earn some points for professional development. You can reach out to an alumni. We'll talk about how to do that and ask them some questions. Try to find out some info about what about their career in computing. Write up a summary. Write up a little reflection document. and we'll help you with that. All these things, some of these things probably sound scary because if you haven't done them before, but that's kind of the point. We want to sort of encourage you to sort of do some of this stuff that you might be a little wary of if you've never done it before. Clubs and organizations will have technical workshops. We've got some links to those. Andrew, in fact, one of our TAs, is organizing those here at UVA and through the UVA Career Center. And you all are more than welcome to do that. There are ways of doing practice interviews. There's an online site called Pramp, and then the career services at both UVA and UVA-Wise help with that. So these are the kinds of things we want you to do as professional development. Now, there are other things. And so Maddie, she's the professional development contact. If you said, hey, could I do this and get some credit for it? She will look it over and say yes or no and tell you how many points it would be worth. So one of the points is you got to do different things. You can't just do 3 hackathons to get 9 points, et cetera, et cetera. So we want you to sort of get a broader list of things. We had students last semester who wanted to update their Handshake profile 2 or 3 times and get credit for it. And we said, no, we don't let you to do that. Also, on the website, the course website, which I will go back and find, there is somewhere. I'm going to try this. Here's the forum I was talking about. Under announcements, you can see that there are already some announcements, and some of these are things you can do for professional development. So, so we are going to sort of try to help you as much as we can find professional development activities that you can do. Just a second, I'm plugging in my laptop before it dies. All right, I'm back. So look for professional development activities listed during announcements. And again, if you got any questions about this or anything, the TAs are available. Contact them on this forum for professional development activities once we get it working. There it is. It works now. You could always ask on the GroupMe, or you could go to office hours and talk to a TA. So, so the professional development activities is an important part of the thing. I think you'll enjoy those. I think you'll get something out of those, as well as getting things out of sort of the technical topics that we're going to cover. So that's my introduction, my overview of the course. I wish we were live so I could take questions, but if you do have any questions, get in touch either through office hours. You can email Professor Somerville or me or any of the TAs. But I encourage you to sort of get on the Moodle site as soon as you can so you can browse around and things like this. And we want to wish you luck and have a great spring semester. And we really hope you enjoy this course. Take care. We'll talk to you later on. Bye.